My brother's goddaughter, 20F, crossed a line with me, 34M. And I don't know what to do now. This is going to require some context, so bear with me. About 5-ish years ago, I was living with my brother because I was in between leases. My brother's best friend was going through a divorce that got really messy, so his 15-year-old daughter came to stay with us. My brother is her godfather. I wasn't really close with my brother's best friend or anything, so I had no investment in the situation other than feeling bad for the kid. My brother started to get really overprotective of her while she was staying with us, which started to frustrate her because she found him overbearing. To alleviate some of that, I started to take her out to things, innocuous stuff like going to a movie or a fair, going on easy hikes. Sometimes even invited her friends along and made it an outing that I chaperoned. Nothing crazy. I always let their parents know what was up and had them back at a reasonable time. Played some Minecraft with her too. She started to talk to me more about things she was going through, a lot of things she didn't want to tell my brother or her parents. I don't want to get into it much, but there was a lot of dark stuff and she was extremely depressed. I wanted her to go to therapy, but she didn't want to go. I didn't want to violate her confidence, and I'm also not her guardian in any way, so I couldn't force her to do anything. Anyway, everything eventually worked out and she was able to go back into her parents' care. They had some sort of custody arrangement. After she moved back in with them and her mood got better. She added me on IG and I was like, sure. It was nice to see her happy, and we'd comment on each other's stuff and message pretty innocent stuff to each other. We still played Minecraft on occasion. Honestly, I really came to adore her in an familial-ish way. When she went to college, she got pretty depressed again. She started opening up to me about it, because we'd had that relationship before. She was in a really tough engineering major and was continually alienated, left out of things, and even sometimes bullied by the guys. She tried to ignore it, but it seemed hard for her. I've never gone to college myself, so I don't know what it's like, but I felt really bad for her. To be honest, I also didn't understand why this was happening to her because she really is a smart and pretty girl. Like, I'd imagine kids would be falling over themselves to be her friend, but again, I can't really speculate. This is where it gets kind of dicey, I guess. Honestly, my heart feels so anxious about this now, writing about it. She would cry to me about not having close friends and no one she could talk to on a deeper level. She said that she felt robbed of a college experience because no one cared to involve her. I didn't live that far away, so sometimes on Friday nights she'd ask to stay with me, because she didn't want to be in the dorm when others were partying since she'd be alone in her room, so I let her stay over, never, ever, ever in the same room. I want to also state that she was not a minor at this point, so while I felt bad about not telling her parents, I recognized that she was an adult and it was not my place to tell them. Well, a few weeks ago, I guess at the end of her term, she wanted to come over. She told me a lot of worrying stuff and I expressed concern and wanted to comfort her, but then she full-on kissed me. I pulled back and was like, what the fuck, holy shit girl, no. When I was done panicking, I told her I couldn't date her, but she said we didn't need to date. I was like, if not dating, what then? What else is there? Because whatever it is, I'm not going to do that either. She then started sobbing and told me that she was sexually assaulted by a woman she'd made friends with. She said she was so eager to connect with someone that she ignored some red flags, and now she didn't know what to do with herself, and doesn't know how to be a normal person. She said I was the only person she's ever had a real connection with. She begged me not to tell anyone else because she was ashamed. She was scared no one would believe her because there's no proof. I believe that this happened to her because I've known her for a while and she's a very honest person, and I feel awful for her. I do genuinely want to support her, but I also feel like a really shitty human. Like, did I accidentally groom her? Am I one of those gross-ass men? Looking back now, I can see how having regular private contact with her might have been inappropriate. Did I lead her on? I never got any indication that she saw me in this way. I know I can't abandon her through this really difficult time. But if I'm going to be honest, I personally can't roll this back. I need to cut this relationship off at some point, because it wouldn't be healthy for either of us. I don't want there to be any inkling in her mind that an intimate relationship is possible here. Can someone help me navigate this? I'm so anxious about it. I know she wants my comfort and the thought of her having no one breaks my heart, but it's hard for me to look at her after she seeded these weird thoughts in my head. I'm a naturally anxious person, so all of this has been really stressful. Too long did not read. Girl that I thought I had a very platonic and sibling-y relationship with kissed me. It's inappropriate, but she needs emotional support during a difficult time. Not sure what to do. Edit. I just wanted to add a few things about her mental state that scare me in terms of cutting her off. She has been self-harming for a bit, hitting herself. Has some disordered eating that I've tried to help her with. Talked about general existential tiredness, grief, guilt, unaliving, etc. Something that I didn't mention is that the main reason for her parents' divorce was a traumatic incident that is hard to get into because it might be identifying. Her parents never got any sort of treatment for her for this, and didn't even go to grief counseling themselves. I think this is why she is also so resistant to therapy, because her parents never prioritized it themselves. She's gone through way more than anyone her age should, and that's why I feel so bad. It's a lot for me, but I feel really paternalistic and it makes it difficult for me to just let her sink or swim. Having said all that, some of you guys have mentioned her reliance on me and dismissing therapy as a way for her to hold me emotionally hostage, and in stepping back I can also see that. There are many times I've had to cancel plans and even dates because she needed someone to talk to. I honestly don't think she's done it on purpose, maybe unintentionally. Thinking about all of this has made me really exhausted. I'll try to respond to comments as best I can. Edit 2. Yep, I get it. No more overnights, sleepovers. Edit 3. This thread has been a lot to digest, and I feel like a whole thing has been unraveled. I'm so weary now lol. Anyway, I've been thinking about this a lot and I've arrived at that I have to step back from this relationship and hand off the heavy stuff to another adult, but I think that adult should be her mom. Firstly, I'm less afraid of her than her dad lol, and she's a much more level-headed person. She may or may not understand the relationship we have, I don't know, but she is aware that I have looked out for her since the divorce and has never been suspicious of my intentions. Secondly, I feel like it might be easier for her to talk about Saw with another woman, even if it's her mom, when she's ready to. Thirdly, but maybe most importantly, her mom is a nurse practitioner, so she might know the right resources. Less than remove some identifying details. I'm really tired right now, but I'm going to prep everything, messages, emails, texts etc. And then ask her mom if we can Zoom later tonight or tomorrow, if not meet up in person. I'll probably take some major heat from my brother and his friend, but I think this is the right thing to do for all parties right now. I don't know what's going to happen to my friendship with her, but in a sense I don't care, I just want her to be okay. Last edit. I got a hold of mom and we're actually meeting in the next 30 minutes. The less fun update is that I went to my young friend's socials and I am now blocked on everything. Man shrugging, light skin tone. I guess she handled that for me then. Can't say it doesn't hurt. I'm still going to send her an email officially stating my boundaries and letting her know that what happened wasn't okay, but also telling her she needs professional help and I hope she's able to receive it. You need to tell her to get some therapy and that you do not have any romantic feelings towards her. She should not have kissed you. Tell her it is inappropriate and that she crossed a boundary line. She is emotionally attached to you, and you need to never meet up with her privately anymore. Yo, what the fuck, these edits are mad scary. Honestly, I don't understand why you didn't involve your bro or her dad. But I feel like you probably need to get some therapy yourself after this massive burden you've been carrying for years. I get the protectiveness, but if she goes under, it sounds like you're gonna go under with her at this point. Make sure your brother knows the story fully, even if it's embarrassing. And then text her, so you have written proof before any shit hits fans, that you never had any intention of having this kind of relationship with her, didn't see her as anything other than a younger sibling, and that you are sorry you may have misled her, but that you were just trying to be a supportive adult in her life and nothing else. Then don't ever be around her alone again, because I can smell the "my brother's goddaughter is falsely accusing me of inappropriate behavior" post from 2,000 miles away, my dude. To be clear, I don't think you're a pedo, groomed her, but don't expose yourself to this kind of situation again, because no shit, a troubled teen ended up with a crush on her cool unrelated older guy friend. As someone who's been Saw, she probably feels confused about her body and is taking affection as you want her. So I'd probably just tell her straight that you're there for her. Just not in that way. As she's going to be struggling for a while, she needs support. She needs to see a doctor though. As there's only so much support you can give. You're like a cool uncle, but you aren't her uncle. To you, it was familial. To her, it's a huge part of what probably improved her life. Then your lack of experience kinda unintentionally caused issues. You need hard boundaries. Now, support as an adult who cares, but what the fuck, sleepovers? Nah. I don't think you're some groomer, but you're way more than you should be. She needs professional help, that's all that's going to fix her. Be an ear, fine. Be a chaperone for a group of friends, cool. No more one-on-one. Something very common in therapy is the patient falling in love with the therapist because, for them, is like finally being able to talk about everything without judgment. Maybe that's what's happened. She crossed the line of, hey, this guy has been really helpful during this dark time, to, I want to be with him. I mean, you were the only one that she could count on. With that being said, it's weird how you maintain close contact with her, Eve, if she was an adult. I'd tell her that there's nothing happening between you two, that she needs therapy ASAP and the cut contact. Update: my wife just turned my life upside down. So after we got off work tonight, my wife and I sat down for a 4-hour-long discussion. We talked just about everything. What each of our needs are, what we're comfortable with, deal breakers, what the underlying problem in our marriage is right now, plans for the future. Everything. We have a plan in place that we both are good with and are planning to go to couples therapy. To all those who said she's cheating on me or has someone lined up. No, she didn't, and please don't automatically assume the worst in someone. People can be trustworthy. I think we're going to be okay now and better later. I'll upvote for your happiness. I wish you luck. I hope you told her that thinking she likes women has absolutely nothing to do with being in a committed relationship. It's the equivalent of saying she has a crush and maybe should act on it, which should be a deal-breaker, period. Her suddenly becoming bi shouldn't change anything. Her thinking she's gay, and only likes women, well, that would be a little different, I believe, as then she maybe wouldn't be attracted to you anymore, but yeah. You didn't give us much of an update, so I can only assume you're being submissive in the situation in hopes of pleasing her. Don't do that. Set hard boundaries, such as, if you begin communicating with someone else, man or woman, we're done. If you have sexual relations with another man or woman, we're done. Etc. Good luck. Good luck. Suddenly discovering you're bi doesn't mean you need a trial separation. Still think your wife has either already cheated or initially wanted the separation so she could go out and sleep around guilt-free. This doesn't make any sense. She was worried how you would react and about losing you, so she wants a trial separation? For what purpose? Have you demanded 100% monogamy during the separation? No offense, but she is going to use that time to experiment with other people. I gave my wife permission to cheat on me. Update. My closest best friend is spending the weekend with my abusive ex-boyfriend. Link to original post. Well, not only did she go away for the weekend, but she posted about him the entire time on all her social media platforms. She hasn't spoken to me once, and I've actively been avoiding her. I think the fact that she hasn't tried speaking to me means maybe she realizes that she's damaged our friendship. I truly don't understand how or why this happened. The way she went about it and then posted about him constantly made it seem as though she did this to spite me. I want to make myself very clear. Nothing has happened between us leading up to this past weekend that she would be wanting revenge for or anything. This was entirely out of left field. To make matters worse, a few people in our friend group reach out to me over the weekend to ask if Molly and Jack were together now, based on her posts. No, she's just a bad friend, I thought to myself. Anyway, my lease ends in 2 months, and I'll be living without Molly for the first time in 3 years. I was so looking forward to our last few months of living together, and now I wish I could move out immediately. The more I try to rationalize this, the less it makes sense to me. How could my best friend do this? I really just posted this update because I'm still upset and wanted to get the last of it off my chest. I just saw your original post. Please call a sexual abuse or domestic violence hotline for help and support. You should not be in that home 1 minute longer. Please get out now. Just remember what you wrote in your first post when she comes crawling back wanting to repair your friendship. If nothing else, this tells me she will always choose herself and her own desires over those of anyone in her life that she claims to love. Your assessment was spot on then, and it'll be spot on for the rest of her life. Move on as best you can and eliminate the drama and disrespect from your life. And remember that you'll never be her first concern, regardless what she says or how well she pretends otherwise. Life's too short and there are too many other cool people to deal with self-centered assholes like her. I'm so sorry. Your friend ultimately chose Jack's attention over her friendship with you. I would be incredibly hurt as well. I agree with everyone saying to move out. I unfortunately don't think you are safe there. Please remember that this is a reflection of Molly's poor judgment, not of your value as a person and a friend. Molly will have to learn for herself was a jerk your ex is. He also could be using her to get to you. Hugs. Stay safe. Please get some therapy for yourself. Jack probably did his very best to make this happen, and sadly, Molly fell for it. Abusers can be very charming, and this was a way for him to keep hurting you, plus have a whole new person to victimize. I'm so sorry. I hope Molly escapes him unscathed, and that you can eventually heal your friendship. And, I say move now, if you can. Your home doesn't sound safe any longer, if your former abuser now has access to it. In a few months, Molly will be in a bad place because your ex will show his true colors. She would have thrown away a friendship for a man that treats her like dirt. Knowing that he did it to you and convinced her that he was a changed man, will make it worse. Stay safe with your boyfriend and stay away from Molly. She unfortunately has to learn on her own. But you need to stay far away from her so that your ex has no access to you. My life is over. I'm almost 30 and stuck providing for my mother. I have no boyfriend. I'm 29 and thankfully don't look my age, so I feel like I have time, but in reality I don't. I'm still at university, work part-time, and I'm stuck providing for my mother. Not only providing but also cooking for her because she refuses to and doesn't know how to cook. My granny cooked for us and mom always fried packaged foods for us. I also apply for jobs for my mom because she can't use a smartphone. I also have to give her money to go for interview. Money to print her resume and do job searching, and money for her to go to work every day. On top of it all, I have to rush her out the door so that she's not late, and I am exhausted. I'm depressed and cannot even study because of all the responsibilities I have. My mother is an adult but knows nothing, not even how to cook and not even what groceries to buy. I have to make a list of what to buy. All my savings is going towards the electricity bill, and I started crying about it because after you have spent a certain amount on electricity, then you are charged double. It's super expensive and the electricity credits finish faster. I don't know if you understand it, but every cent I saved is now going towards buying electricity, and it's a waste because you get half the electricity that you normally do. I told my mom to go and find work, and she only applies at 3 places or the same places. I have no support and all I do is cry. I needed my savings. My mother asked me bus fare monies to claim money from the unemployment office, then said she's overslept and could not go. Next excuse again. Overslept, and today's excuse was it's raining. I earn peanuts and cannot move right now. Everyone's moving forward in life and I'm stuck at home living in a ghetto with a mother who don't support me, cook for me, or want to work. My mother loves freebies so much that she stands in the line to fetch food meant for the very poor just because she's too lazy to cook. Although we are poor, I believe the food was meant for those who do not have food inside their homes, and we have the groceries but nobody wants to cook it. I usually cook all the time, but I'm busy with exams, so I just eat popcorn or noodles most of the time because I try to use all my free time for studying. I feel that nobody will marry me knowing that I'm providing for my mother, because honestly I wouldn't marry a man providing for his family members who are able to work as they are fit and healthy, whether they are your mom or not, because I would need him to contribute to our household. My mom's so fit she prefers to walk 40 minutes to the supermarket than taking an Uber. All these years she made an excuse that she works and that's why she don't cook, so I showed her how I worked a full-time job and came home to cook, but unfortunately since studying I don't have so much time, and now that she's home doing nothing, she has no excuse to not cook, and all the dishes are dirty and hoarded on the table. I left it as it is because I'm seriously not going to do the dishes as well. My mother avoided paying rent all the years because we live in a government-owned flat and the government don't really evict you. We got an eviction warning for the first time a few months back and had to write police reports swearing we don't work. I didn't at the time. My money don't cover rent. My mom also signed up with a housing project that requires a small few every month, a deposit and a house for low-income receivers, and my mom wants me to ALSL pay for this new house, and I flipped. It's 200 ZAR a month meeting fees and we are going about 1200 ZAR. I got my book allowance from university but refused to pay for it because it's not my responsibility, and bought me a laptop instead, as exams now take place online. How can she even ask me to pay it? She sits on her phone all day, reads, sleeps, or pretends to be busy. She doesn't cook food unless I remind her to. I have to tell her every week that it's her turn, and it annoys me every time she comes in to ask how much spice she must add or how much salt. I haven't been able to study 2 weeks due to all this burdens and I feel like giving up. We have absolutely no family. They all live their own lives and I cannot bother them with my problems. My mother grew up not washing her hair for months and still has this habit. Someone told me that I can't leave her because she can't take care of herself, referring to her unwashed hair and not being to cook or live in a clean environment because she hoards. She's perfectly fine and are able to do everything, but she's just lazy. If she was disabled, then I would say she is unable to wash her hair or cook for herself. How does one deal with this? I don't see myself doing this for the next 6 months, as I won't earn enough to move anytime soon, even after graduating. I am graduating end of year. Get a roommate and move out. It's not going to be pretty, but your sanity seems to be at stake. Honey, you are not responsible for your mother. Believe me when I say that if you left her tomorrow, she would have to figure out how to exist on her own. And she totally would. She is weaponizing her supposed incompetence because she knows you will take care of it. And I say this as the daughter of a similar mother. I am 40 years old and only now getting my own life because my mother passed on 2 years ago. Listen to me very carefully. Leave your mother. Go no contact until she has gotten herself on her feet. Do not feel guilty in doing so. You deserve your own life. Do you see this in any way ending up positively? Do you see that magically by you taking care of her, she'll suddenly come to her senses? Or do you see this for what it is, you attempting to save someone from drowning, as they punch you and bite you every time you come close? This will end badly. How badly depends on it ending because you become in an utterly fucked financial situation and you both drown, or badly because you'll finally see this for what it is, save yourself, and let her complain about how terrible you are for leaving her. So who will drown here? You both, or just her? She's going to drown regardless. You'll get more input if you make paragraphs. That wall of text is hard to read. But bottom line, just stop. Stop helping and giving her money. You're enabling her. How to deal with it? You move out. People learn to survive when they have to. People like this don't learn how until they need to. Congrats on school and getting close to graduating. Cooking seems to take up way too much of your time. You mention it 12 times above. Just give mom a microwave dinner and call it done. If she complains, she can make her own food. That is how it works. Your mom is acting like spoiled child. Quit rewarding her for it by doing her bidding. You are a great person for helping, but you need to respect yourself more and stand up to your mom.